All right. Good morning, everyone. Got me a cough drop today, so see if that helps a little bit better. I was hurting yesterday afterwards, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can survive today. Make it the whole day without having issues with talking. Anyway, some decent news out there. Kind of bouncing back and forth, right? Um, Again, pretty much, I wouldn't say full ATRs just because of the volatility with everything, but again, decent movement, much better than we've seen lately. Euro dollar down 81. You can see it is down, but rallying back in the last 60 minutes. Pound, same thing, down 70, but rallying back, right? Dollar yen, kind of mixed. Dollar Swiss, up 92, but also reversing in the last hour, right? As we saw that dollar surge, and now it's coming back down again. Dollar CAD 48, a lot less movement again. Also kicking back again, but great CPI data. Well, not great because again, you don't want your inflation at this point going higher. But for the most part, yeah. Canada is up as well. So again, a little CAD strength coming there. Aussie dollar down 43, right? Not tons, but it is obviously reversing back again. Pound, euro pound, 17, really nothing there. And then pound yen, 16, kind of nothing, right? Nothing you really need to go crazy about. So CPI year on a yearly basis, 10.1. That does tie what they were at before, so it's not like it's a new 40-year high. But again, going to cause some, I don't want to say drama, but again, going to cause some strife. Again, the UK has already said we are definitely much different. Our situation is different. We're handling things differently, but still can't feel good going back above that 10 mark, particularly being at 9.9. Bullard speaking later on this evening, as well as we have some unemployment change data. So should be interesting. We'll see what we get out of China as well. Again, a Chinese slowdown is definitely something that I think we've seen, although this is a big burst up again. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. News-wise, a lot of news out there. This is kind of one of those ones that I think is, we're starting to hear more about this, that the ECB should hike 75 basis points at the next two meetings. As you heard before, the ECB's actually made comments about how we really probably only need to do one to get us back in line to where we need to be. We're trending in the right direction. I don't know. I think it's interesting they're calling for 0.75, 0.75 because thus far it seems like they've been a little bit more timid in what they actually needed. We'll see what goes on with that one, but I think that's definitely something to watch out for. It was over there, Kremlin. I saw it. Economic mobilization. This is kind of interesting too. Putin announces during the Security Council meeting he's declared martial law on 4 illegally annexed. Yep, got it. Higher alert regime. One of the things that I saw, what was down there? Meeting level response. Okay. One of the things that I saw we have coming up, which is pretty interesting. G7 price cap on Russian oil exports will not be replicated on OPEC. Oh, yeah, it's okay. So when you make statements like this, I love this. Look, we're going to put a price cap, but it's on everybody except Russian oil. Well, you know what we had when we've already seen it? Where two tankers meet up, turn off their transponders, and switch it over. I love this. We're going to take everybody's oil except your oil. Okay, sure. So everybody else, and what this basically says is we're only going to pay X number of dollars, but everybody else we can charge more, which means, again, we're going to help all the bad people out there. This is continuing to kind of play out. Here's one right here talking about how, with elections coming around, the White House is trying to do this again. So, yeah. Actually, this is wrong. It's not the lowest in 20 years. It's actually the lowest in 40 years. They talked about it this morning, actually, on the radio. Basically, at this point, the Strategic Oil Reserve, lowest levels in 40 years. We've used 1/3 already of the Strategic Oil Reserve. If for some reason we got a very bad hurricane and we had to shut the Gulf down for a bit, we actually don't have enough. Again, it's interesting how this is really starting to unfold now. That, again, they are using more of what is, again, supposed to be used as an emergency plan, and they're talking about releasing more with it. So, Yeah, it's interesting. Saudi Arabia pointed out that Biden lied about it, and I'm not exactly sure where they see the end to this, but it does have to be replaced. And we've used officially just over 1/3 of the reserve now, the lowest levels in 40 years. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But basically, yeah, I don't know. Basically, they refuse to invest in infrastructure, but then want to get rid of all of our reserves. And I guess right now, what they're saying is, energy will continue to increase or whatever. Our energy reliance will be for the next 25 years, no matter what we do. Yeah. And some interesting data with that too that I heard this morning. I didn't actually realize this, but I guess the statistic is U.S. natural gas is 42% cleaner than like Chinese natural gas is. Okay. So with it being that much cleaner, we're still not using it. We're not developing it. We're not doing anything with it. So yeah, basically talking about how energy inflation. It's funny. The Democrats now want to say, "Oh, the inflation problem is because of both parties." Yeah, it's both parties. It's like, because you're 2 years in, so it's got to be both parties. But all the spending actually, it's kind of, you can see where it's yeah. So yeah, I think elections are going to be pretty interesting. That is coming on board soon. Again, the election will be a tradable event. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see how this is playing out. Yeah, annual inflation, minister. Yeah, Japan will no commitment on forex, but they're not going to tolerate sudden and excessive forex moves. So we're going to cooperate with the international community. So this is interesting how it's unfolding too. And like I said, Japan can't. It's not a standard situation right now, because it's not necessarily a Japanese problem. Honestly, it's a U.S. based problem. It's not a Japanese based problem. So, yeah, international community. That's when they mention that, it's kind of like, yo, we need some help. So, yeah, we're kind of in a mess, but that's kind of where we're looking at right now. The other thing, too, that we're going to start hearing about, and I think it starts this weekend, the U.S. and Russia, and again, these have been planned for a very, very, very long time. These are not anything new, but they are doing nuclear practice maneuvers, and I think it starts this weekend or sometime in the next couple days or whatever. It's not anything new. It was planned. It has been planned forever. Both sides know about it well in advance. Of course, the United States is saying that, no, this is bull. Russia should not do that. But it's been planned for a really, really long time. Both sides do it. There's nothing additional. And, according to the last briefing, they've said that we've seen nothing. We've heard nothing in the intelligence community. We've seen nothing that have shown that Russia is mobilizing anything nuclear-wise, but that they have exercises where they will fire things, and that is 100% planned. So we're going to start hearing a little bit more about that, and I'm assuming that'll probably help raise the VIX a little bit because, they're like, oh, this is like the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's like, well, okay. I don't know that it's quite at the Cuban Missile Crisis level, but you're going to hear about that as well. So I think the next 2 days you're going to hear more go back and forth. It's funny how we're trying to now manipulate OPEC, but again, if OPEC 23 members can all vote together, they have a unified front at this point. And again, the more we tap the strategic oil reserve, the more dangerous our situation actually becomes. So, with that said, tomorrow morning we have some Philly Fed data coming out, as well as unemployment. Now, we did hear some more comments and things like that about yesterday about they really need to destroy the kind of the employment market or the labor market. That's still continuing to unfold. We'll see it kind of populating right here inside of the unemployment claims of things. For me, I'm actually the Philly Fed number, and it's okay. I'm actually more interested to see what this existing home sales number looks like tomorrow morning. And again, we will be on when that comes out. All my mortgage friends and real estate agent friends are like, nah, this is a cyclical part of the market. I'm like, well, no, it's not. It's nice that, yes, there at school time, there does decrease a little bit. And, but we've seen interest rates go from 2.8 up to 7. So to say that this is a normal thing is not 100% true. I love these people a lot, but yeah. So I'm interested to see with the existing home sales. I guess he's like, oh, we only have inventory for half a month, so the market is still hot. I'm like, well, the reason you don't have as much is because people aren't buying as much because they don't want to spend 7% on a mortgage now versus what they were spending before. So, yeah, I think this one is the big one. Again, this is existing home sales is kind of the, you know, the people that already own that house. You know, not the new, not the bright new and shiny, right? So, yeah, I want to see how deep this runs. I think this is really kind of where the next recessionary kind of pressure and force comes from is homes. Because we know we're raising interest rates higher. We know that housing interest rates are also going to continue to go higher. So yes, there's probably a little rush now, but the reality is we're going up probably 1.5% in the next 3 months. What's that going to do to mortgage rates? Not great. All right. So again, Philly Fed, yeah, interested. It's supposed to be negative. I think this actually could be a positive. That could lead us to a green day tomorrow in the indices, or at least a green open. But I think existing home sales is where we really want to focus some attention tomorrow morning. All right. So I always like to see the latest ones here. Yeah. All right. So VIX. VIX is kind of found a bottom down here, right? Somewhere around this 31 area, and we kind of mentioned it yesterday. We had some sellers over there. Starting to creep back up again, and I do think that the VIX will probably increase a little bit. As I said, the news article that you read, I love the fact that the U.S. is trying to shun Russia for nuclear exercises when we are doing nuclear exercises as well. Both sides do, and again, it's been planned for a long time. It's nothing new. But again, as soon as people mention that, again, we have no proof that they're doing anything else. We've seen nothing on radar. None of our sources tell us that the White House had said all these things. But again, it's going to be crafted as, oh my God, look at this. We're so close. Cuban Missile Crisis. No, we're not at the Cuban Missile Crisis. There is not a ship with a nuclear weapon. We do not have a blockade. These are exercises, and exercises happen all the time. Okay. To say it's the Cuban Missile Crisis is obviously raising fear. But again, when people hear that, the VIX should spike a little bit. Now, all indices are slightly in the red today. Nothing super crazy. The dollar did take again since the European session this morning, and always important to look at this. When did it really start to move? Europeans kind of kicked in here, so it really started late last night is when we saw this move. Now we have pushed up, and again, the dollar is kind of a supply and demand kind of created thing here. You're seeing that there was an area of sellers. I mean, kind of right there, right? Whoops. Right there, right? And we have a confirmation. We extend it across. You can see that's kind of what we ran into, that same area of people. Are we going to have the big drop and decline in the dollar today? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything that really justifies it right now. News-wise, not really. I mean, again, today was not really. I mean, maybe Bullard at 6:30, but all he's doing is doing opening remarks. We already know kind of what front, and we already kind of know what he's going to say. So it's not. I don't think there's any big surprises with it. So if anything, I say we probably start leveling out between this 113 and 112 level, just in preparation for kind of really not even there, but. I mean, this is not, as you can see, I have everything checked, right? It's not a big week for, the dollar. I think the dollar is in a little bit of a slow pattern right now, right? We do have elections coming up. I definitely think that that's going to have a big sway on there. I think we're going to start seeing polls. So I think right now, I think the dollar will probably slow down a bit. I think it's probably going to slow down a bit, but I think it's getting ready for some big moves. I think Election Day absolutely could cause it. I guess the first thing that if the elections sway, obviously if like Congress is flipped, which a lot of people are actually, the projection is that it will flip. The first thing that I guess is on the agenda is repealing and getting rid of the 82,000 IRS agents or whatever. So I don't know how the market's going to take that, if that's going to be a good or a bad thing. I'm assuming it's going to take it as a I would assume, because it would change some budgets around, I would assume they would take it as a good thing. But, it's really going to depend. But I think we're in for a little bit of a pause. I think we start, kind of forming a channel. You can see kind of the channel is sitting there. We're kind of in this range, and we're sitting right in the middle right now. So as far as kind of what the projection is for the next 2 days, and maybe a little bit of a pullback, but if it breaks through, it's got to break through a bit of a chunk. Without the next interest rate rise or some really bullish content, I don't think we can really go much higher. Does the market like split government? It's not, Jeff. I would say the market actually, I don't think minds the split government. When one side owns it, a lot of agenda gets driven through. There's been a lot more spending right now, and the market isn't necessarily happy with the Fed and the politics that have been involved. Remember, transitory came out of a politically driven environment. And again, typically, the Republican side is considered more favorable for the stock market. That historically that's what it's kind of looked at. So split, not really. But I don't, at this point with low ratings, inflation at 40-year highs, it's not looking good for Biden anyway. So if it splits into Republican, if it goes back across, it could be a complete role reversal in 4 years. So I do think that the market likes that because that tends to be cutting taxes, things that are favorable for business. So that's, it's not a direct answer, but I do think that the market historically does actually favor that side of the aisle. But indices in the red, you can see oil up. The rest of the commodities are down, as they should be. But again, we're releasing more strategic oil reserve, and oil's actually going up. So, gotta watch this. One thing we know, Twitter will be entertaining. Yeah. I don't even know if Twitter will be, right? Because, Trump owns his, what's it called? Like Go Social or something like that. He has his own, and then, I don't know, I guess Parler, Kanye is trying to buy Parler or something like that, I think. I don't know. I don't know. More people are getting involved in politics. I can't keep up with it all. But yeah, so gold and silver down huge. Natural gas down huge. But again, crude oil up. Okay, up. As far as currencies go, so Aussie dollar, yesterday we talked about kind of a bouncing back and forth, and we talked about, reversals. And you can see we had that reversal around 11 o'clock, and it did punch through and finally kind of confirm and went back up. But we're really kind of where we ended yesterday at 10:30. Actually, the 10:30 is here. The 11 is actually kind of where it went down. We talked about getting a break of this level because we had 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it broke through. Didn't really have necessarily a Harry Potter setup there. It was really this trade here at 8:30 they were looking at. But now it's starting to base in that level. So in looking at this, it's like, yes, this was kind of a nice little bounce off. It was a previously violated zone. It was confirmed. It went back up. It hit. It came back up again. It hit. It went over again. Now that it's basing in here, got to be looking at this and like, are these buyers gone? Right? Are these buyers gone? The big question is, does it have enough room to run? So, here's what the old Harry Potter trade looks like, right? We had talked about this level before. There's a little bit of a hiccup there, but I think having the profit target be below the buyers here, this one could be pretty interesting. Now, it's got what? It's got about 25 pips before we hit this little pivot, so it's not bad. It does go on the side of dollar strength, which I think is absolutely kind of justified, particularly after seeing this kind of rally up. Again, we know inflation is at a 40-year high. Trust me, politics-wise, you got one side still stuck on the January 6th commission, right? We're still stuck on that, and then abortion, right? They're still stuck on that whole thing. But there's not much you can do on the abortion front with the Supreme Court on one side. You can try to change the rules, but that has some major problems with backfiring, because if one side changes the rules, guess what the other side's going to do when they finally get power again? They're going to change the rules too. So not really a good precedent you want to set when you can't win something legally, change the rules. So yeah, dollar strength is coming back is kind of what I'm saying. They have to control inflation. It's way too out of control, and the transitory lie is really coming back to bite that one side of the aisle really, really bad. So I think dollar strength is coming more. The economy thus far has been resilient. I think taking shorts like this are probably decent. It's only about 12 pips worth of risk, so it's not bad. Taking 38 in the other direction, not horrible as well. And this one looks of, again, a confirmation break of 62. 62.70, right? 62.70. And again, we want to make sure that we get profit, obviously before this area. I can't get it out, even though it's below. Oh, look at that. Well, let me move it. I can only do it off the top piece. There we go. Get your profit out at 62.32. All right. LCM. So LCM, we talked about spiking up, and it looks like yesterday morning, that 11 o'clock was the kind of reversal, and all we did was find the same tops again. We talked about it pushing down, and it pushed down a little bit, but I wouldn't say anything major. Like I said, I didn't know when this is going to hit, but whenever it does, I do think that this is a decent level up here, this 94.28 level. It's not there. We're basically just going sideways. You can see it's down 0.1%, so it's basically down almost nothing. The problem with this one is we kind of need some yen strength to come in. Now, on that front, I do actually like this for fundamental reasons. The dollar yen is actually up at that, and we're close to that 150 range. And they're calling, I mean, the BOJ is getting very angry, right? The BOJ, where they say it, right here, right? We cannot tolerate this. We're not going to do excessive movements. It's inappropriate, right? We must take appropriate response against excessive moves. It's kind of excessive at this point, right? So with that said, it would be bringing some strength back in. I am actually more bearish this position. You know, Aussie dollar in a position where we look like it's going to go down. Aussie yen, I mean, if it's Aussie's losing strength versus the dollar, you know, technically it should weaken here as well. But if the yen does anything strong, also should weaken. So I think a lot of the factors out there on a fundamental basis are lining up for a short on this one. Ideally, I'd like to get to 94.75, but we may not be able to hold that long. So we'll see. And again, if this does start to roll over short, it does have about 110 pips before we have any buyers stepping in. So anything decent, especially the way it's basing right now, it's eating the rest of these buyers up, right? These were buyers established, and again, it's a double bottom wick, so I don't necessarily love that one. But look, they're really starting to get eaten up. Question is, what do they do here? I mean, again, on a technical basis, there's a clearing wick and a new establishment, but there is a level in there. So really the first kind of clear passes all the way down here. So I do think there's a short coming in this one as well if you can find something decent on it. Euro dollar. So euro dollar yesterday, you can see we had that reversal. We talked about this being a big 50, and yeah, at 11 o'clock is when it finally tagged that zone, and you can see it went well past. We hit it at 6:30, came up, and then we ended actually right here. You can see that, you know, it went up, it didn't touch, and then came down at 11 o'clock and grabbed that level. So we'd marked it off. We talked about it being not only a 50, but also a 23.6 level. And again, this was about 44 pips profit target. It's funny. It kicked in literally within a half hour of, you know, the end of the session. So it was a quick one. Hopefully some of you guys got that one. But now you can see it came down at base in that level. And look, there's your I mean, you could use that one or not, but you could say 1, 2, there's 3, pulled away, 4 with a base. It unfortunately didn't give us the pullback. It just continued to drop all the way down. So it's like, wah, wah, wah. We were close. But hopefully you guys got the long yesterday. And again, this is just, you know, understanding kind of what a Harry Potter is through a failed zone with 4 touches. And it did give us a little pullback. But again, you can see once it based in that zone, you're like, yep, it's getting smoked. And it did. It dropped all the way down. So, and it turned. I mean, really the turning point right here, the profit target should have been right at the 50. It got front run just by a little bit. Again, that happens. You know, not the end of the world. You know, what are you going to do? But right now, as far as buyers coming in, you know, I think probably this 23 level, this old 23 level, it's not anymore because it got blown through. That is kind of backstop over here by the 61.8. So I think we look for this one to kind of turn and roll over here. It's got some room to run, probably about 50 pips to the downside. So, you know, it's like, it's there, right? It's there. You know, 55 pips is a lot, right? We'll see what we can go through. Obviously, there are some buyers established here. You can see that the wick's kind of one here, and then the higher one shows you that there are buyers in there. With it being at 10 o'clock, do we start to see a reversal? Does somebody look at this and say, well, the ECB said, I mean, that's absolutely a possibility. Right? Absolutely a possibility. But I think at this point, wait for it to come down. This is a level. It is tested. It is an old 23, so it is kind of like a violated level. But it's also the 61.8. And I think that's kind of the more important piece of this one to get into, as there will be fib, you know, short duration kind of fib traders getting in on that one. As far as how to play it. Euro pound. So there's euro pound. Yesterday we talked about the 50, and this one actually. Yesterday morning, we were sitting kind of right in this level here, actually right here. And we talked about being in the middle. We said that this is a great top. I mean, as a 50, I love the formation of that. It ended up coming up and testing that level at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you may have actually caught this one for a short there, right? If you didn't, and if you looked at this late last night, like down in this area right here, like if you did your charts before bed, you may have said, oh, look at that. There's a top at a 50%, decent formation. The body to the wick percentages is a good. It is confirmed that literally just spiked up really, really quick and got shut down right at 1 o'clock. And guess what? Came in right here, and the opening's actually right there, right? So again, one candle in, 4 o'clock, nice reversal back down again, and this was 8 for 25. And it turned and stopped exactly where it should have. It found those buyers. So I would look at this one and kind of mark it off and say, hey, listen, we got a little area here, right? Nice thing about this area is, you know, we've had 1, 2, 3, kind of 4 touches, right? I mean, you could say this is the same touch, right? 1, 2, 3. If not, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. We're getting to a point here where we kind of have a Harry Potter set up on this one. Now, this is going to take, I think this one is going to actually have to take, we are going to need somewhat of a headline, I think, to get it down here. But it's 10 pips for, 30 in the other direction. It is a little bit deep. Typically, I'd want to have a profit target sitting right there. But, it's not in a bad spot, right? It's not in a horrible spot. I like this one kind of pulling back down to an immediate level. I think 86.50 is a good level. I mean, you can see last time this kind of high to low. If you take this kind of from here up, you can see right around that 50 to 61 is where a lot of people are going to be stepping in. If it goes just a little bit below, that's right where our profit target is. So I think that's a decent short. I don't mind that one. I think there are worse things out there right now. I think that's a pretty decent trade. Oops, hold on one sec. Wait, what? Sorry, text message. All right, there. All right, so I don't think that one's bad as well. And again, I do like this level up top still. I think that's decent. I probably wouldn't take this one again. It did drive higher. There's only a little bit of an area of sellers left in there. Very, very small, probably not even covering the spread, so be cautious with it. But this one, what it looks like is a breakthrough of 86.76. Ideally, this one comes all the way down here. But again, I think this one will have a little bit more of a challenge between 50s profit target and then again the 61.8. Again, people waiting for the 61.8. We got some room, but 86.76 down to 86.43. Again, a little 10 for 30. We don't mind those as well. Okay, euro yen. So euro yen. I talked about how this is a decent top and that could be it. Well, it ended up needing to go a little bit higher, right? It ended up needing to go up to there, right? So we missed it by just a little bit. It ended up basing late in the overnight. And then again, the 3 o'clock candle was here, drove us right into that level and kind of turned, and it missed it a little bit. So we were already calling for this one to be short. I think the rationale on this one is kind of the same as the Aussie. We're up here. We've been breaking lower. We had this one spike candle, but there was an area of basing here that was kind of tested. Here, obviously this slides through, hit it again, kind of front run, and now we're basing on it right now. I do think this one is probably due for a drop. The question is, where exactly are we going to kind of grab this one? This quick spike kind of messes a lot of the analysis up for me on this one. I do think that it runs back down. I do think an overall profit target of this one is going to be down here. There may be something around the 23, but that's quite a run to the downside on this one. You're talking about 125 pips to the downside. Again, it goes right into the whole story that, the BOJ is getting pissed. If the BOJ takes any action whatsoever that could strengthen the yen, this will come crashing down as well. So we are very, very high in the curve. We ran into a daily level. We did get a top in there. We did get a little confirmation. So this is one of those ones I do like, and, I wish there was a better method to kind of trade these. And again, there are traditional options, but unfortunately traditional options on a lot of the currency pairs are just not great. So there are ways to do it. All right, pound dollar. So, pound dollar. Hopefully you guys grabbed this one. Yesterday we marked off this level and said, those 50%ers, they got front run right here, but we talked about the level of selling. As you can see, this one late last night around 19, and really it spent some time here. With this failure to go lower piece in here, there's a red, green, red that kicked in right there. There's your little confirmation right at midnight. And then actually you can see it breaking through right here. This is a great little short. Whoops. Yeah, short. The trade is out now, but we mentioned that this would be a nice little one right there. And it looks like you got taken out at right around 4 o'clock. So, again, late night trading. If you guys are looking at this last night, you said, hey, listen, there was a front run here. It is the 50% retracement. We do have supply. Right there, we can see it. And again, there was your confirmation on that supply. Once it based here and didn't go any higher, it's like, oh, leave that zone. And it did. And again, this was 21 for 60. So another nice little overnight trade. Again, nighttime trading. I love when people say it doesn't work. You can't do it. Really? Because this one, let's see, it entered the zone at 7 p.m. and at 11:30, we were coming out the backside of it with a confirmation. Okay, so yeah, nighttime trading that doesn't work. 60 pips in the pound dollar, straight to the downside with only 21 pips worth of risk. So not bad, right? 20 for 60. Right now, I think the next area, again, we see this dollar strength rolling in. We talked about it yesterday as a target of 111.82. It is a base. There are going to be 50% traders coming in on this one. At this point, running this one top to bottom, we can kind of pull it back down. And you can see it did pull up just a little while ago to grab that 23. We'll see if it slams through all the way back down to level. If we do a little bit of forecast on this one now going forward, you can see that same level is now the 61.8. So to me, it says that, yeah, this is probably going to be an area where we hit it, pause, maybe take a bounce off of it, but it could be a good level for you guys to get long and kind of roll with. All right. All right. With that said, let's go to the pound yen. Okay. So pound yen. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right here. And it really didn't do much. It kind of just went sideways. It went up a little bit and kind of went down a little bit and then popped up. Right now, I would say that it is stuck in a channel. We do have buyers here, and you can see they're running into those buyers. This one, unlike some of the other yen-based pairs, it doesn't really have the same racetrack in here, right? It's step, 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 step. There's a confirmation hit right here, right? There's a confirmation hit right there. I think that's probably where you target this to the downside. But do I love the trade? Not really. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, on a near term, if you're running on this one, you can see the 50 was like chop, 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 down any profit targets got hit. Then it came up, then it burst through 61.8. And that kind of acted as a little bit of a base and kind of a pullback here on the 61 and kind of came down and now stuck. So, I think overall, here the 61.8 kind of breaks it in. So it's just not as much movement on this one. Of all the pairs, right now, I am kind of anticipating that we do get a little bit of pound strength to come back in, especially after that 10.1 today. They are going to have to raise again. Regardless of whether they're in recession or not, they got to do something to really kind of reset that inflation. It has to be done. So I do feel like they'll have something that comes out. So again, that would be a strong pound versus a strong yen if they do anything. Obviously, the BOJ intervention would actually drive this down more. Okay. It would be something that we would see a little bit more of it. But right now, it's one of those ones. It's like, oh, is it great? It's all right. It's okay. I don't love it. So, Mr. Buddy, you come with me? Oh, all right, Mr. Kip, here you go. There you go, Mr. Kip. You have things to play with. There we go. You can play with this one too. All right. So, dollar CAD. All right, so dollar CAD, we were really hoping that this one got up here for news, right at 8:30. It got at 7:30, it kind of found the top, and it did. It pushed back down again. We were hoping to go a little bit higher. I still think the zone's probably valid. I'm afraid right now, though, at 10:30, we're going to see a reversal here when we're running out of strength for the dollar. And I feel like this is going to turn and roll and give us actually a new top on there. I was really hoping we could get up to the 138.31. Sometimes, obviously, it doesn't work out the way that we plan. And I feel like this is one of those scenarios where, ideally we wanted to come up, but unfortunately it just didn't give us the trade setup like we wanted. And it happens. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. So, it did push back down. I still like it. We'll see if this is the new top or not. If this is just the base and it pushes up, I think we could get a turn and maybe at like a 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock kind of reversal today of some sort. That's not really an official reversal time, but it is a time when, again, markets are slow during lunch and then it turns and pulls back up. But, again, we know that there is really no U.S.-based news today until 6 p.m. tonight. Here you go. Clearly a UK component when you look at what happened after 23rd in the market. We did not fully brief you on the Midgy budget Treasury's announced before. Okay, so he's talking. We'll see if we get more on that one. But I do like this one a little bit more bearish. Again, if the dollar's not going to be a big presence in the next couple days, I think the CAD is probably due with this data to make some type of a comment, or at least talk about what their next raise look like. And I think there was a lot of question, like, oh, it's negative, we don't need to do anything, it keeps being negative. But now that went up on the positive, I feel like they're going to have to mention something about it, which again would provide CAD strength and a CAD drop back down again. Overall, again, don't hold this one past this level if you're going to get into it. Definitely look to take profit, but I think you're going to have some hiccups on the way down. All right, so let's pull this. Missed the pot just a little bit. All right, dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss starting to surge again. As you can see, this profit target from yesterday, actually that was 230. Let's see, where do we hit? Actually, 1030 was right here. 1030 is here, kind of chopped in the middle. So it ended up at 11 o'clock yesterday. It did grab, and again, we talked about this being an area where we saw sellers in the past. It did hit it and roll back down again to that same level again and then took off. Right now with the pushing higher, we can actually take this off because, again, the 78 was hit. So it's retraced it almost fully. We talked about a level here at 120. It ended up basing right below it, again, right at parity. And then kind of using that level. I think right now we wait and we hold this one up top. As you can see, there's definitely something going on here. It was not necessarily we had it green. Here, go ahead, get down. It wasn't really like a long base trade or anything. But I think at this point, wait for it to come back up to the extreme level. If we can get some positive data out of the Swiss, I think this could turn and roll too with kind of what we talked about. But, again, just shows you right now there was nothing there. Look how strong parity is. Parity is such a big deal for so many different pairs. But again, I don't think the Swiss is in a great situation. The yen. So we talked yesterday. Again, we got this crazy spike here, right, at 5 o'clock yesterday. And then really the 1030 candle is right here. And then it did nothing. And it just stopped. The entire U.S. session did nothing. U.S. session went from here to here. And actually really until midnight did nothing. And then we started to push up. Now, we are high. I drew this saying, hey, listen, I think there's a level in here somewhere before 150 that the BOJ does something, says something, makes some type of a comment. We're kind of in that range now. It only took one day to get there. I think it's due. I mean, I feel like it is due at this point. Why is it telling me that? What? Okay. Sorry, phone went off again. I was like, I don't know why it's telling me that. Wait, what? Hold on. It's doing it again. No? Okay, sorry. So, I do feel that this turns and rolls, but I think it's going to be a BOJ type scenario. Don't know when it's coming in, but I would not be surprised with some type of a big spike. I think if it gets to 150, it's one of those numbers where you're just going to see so much drama because of it. 150 is a big deal. 150 is a big deal. So, yeah. Kip, what are you doing? Yeah. I don't want to tell anybody to go short on this one, but I feel like there's a short trade in here. Yeah, it's not in a topping pattern yet. But I feel like there's one coming. I feel like there's one hidden in there. So, come here. What are you doing, buddy? Oh, what are you doing? There. Yeah. There's a short. I don't have one. I don't have a risk level, but I do think there's going to be a big move in that one. Oil. All right. So yesterday we were sitting. Here's your 10 o'clock right here. Your 10:30 right here. So we tagged the zone and we talked about a potential reversal from that level, and we got it. It pushed up. Funny enough, look at this. If I take a horizontal line and snap it, put it right there. How good is that? So it tagged the profit target that we talked about yesterday, and it did. It was a reversal, and if you missed it, it came back down, and at 230, it kind of tagged it again, and kind of tagged it again, and went right back up to that same level. So I don't care which one you took. You had multiple opportunities to get long that. As far as kind of where I expected it to end, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So 24 hours, we're right where kind of we talked about going. And actually, this is the one I had the Bollinger Bands on, right? And let's see. So not too bad, right? And it came down, right? I was close. Look how close. I was like, yeah, look, this probably comes down, right? And here I was off by a little bit, and now it's literally right on it. So it's pretty close. I should have drawn it just a little bit more deep, right? But that's close. But anyway, a couple buys off that one. You know, again, we're going to release more from the Strategic Reserve, and yet prices are up 1.45%. I think it probably has the ability to go higher as well. I think that, I think at this point, I think they're going to have to slow down on releasing the Strategic Oil Reserve. It's becoming something that could potentially have that side lose their seats in the aisle, as well as the presidency at this point, and put the nation at risk. I think using it as a resource is going to have to stop, and they're going to start demanding what's the plan to repay the Strategic Oil Reserve. I think that has the ability to spike it. And again, this is the kind of the same rationale behind how central bank interventions don't work because it returns back to where it should have been anyway. Releasing 10 million barrels of oil to lower price temporarily, it doesn't change the situation. It just, what it does is it kind of passes the buck down the road, and then you have to pay it back at potentially inflated prices. I think long oil is probably the way to go here. And again, the consensus is that it will end up between 80 and 100, but a majority of that was saying that it was between 90 and 100, and we're, $7 off? So I think this has more room to run. And again, we're going to hear a lot more about oil. Every time that it is mentioned again, it's going to cost somebody else a seat. Because at this point, I think people are getting tired of it. And again, a temporary fix only leads to worse down the road, unfortunately. So, yeah. Again, levels of this could potentially reverse. I mean, again, we pull fibs down. People, again, oil market absolutely loves their fibs. You can see that there is a level right there. It is kind of a retest, so this one is kind of a strange one. There's a gap, a test there, and then a front run. So I think really somewhere in this range of 84, I don't know, maybe it's 75, maybe it's 50. It could be 52, right? I think anywhere in this range, I think we have it reverses back down again. And the reason why I say that is because, again, you have a strong push there. You have the 23.6. You have a gap. You have a test of the gap. Two levels on top of each other. If we get in this area and we can start getting a red, green, red, again, a confirmed change, I think you got to really look at this and say, it's time to go short. Long term, no, but obviously short intraday targets, sure, absolutely. So take advantage of that. Natural gas, woo, continuing to drop down again. I mean, I have 85% of my tank right now, so it's not that big of a deal, but love for this to come back where it's supposed to come back down to. And like I said, natural gas wise, I am still shocked. I didn't realize that we were, again, 42% cleaner than, say, Chinese natural gas production. 42% seems like that's a lot. And you know what was interesting? I don't even know who it was on. It may have, I don't know. It was one of the senators talking about how they said, we have really botched this natural gas thing. We have enough natural gas. We could be the OPEC of the world, right? For natural gas. We could have China and Russia, not Russia, but we could have China relying upon the United States for natural gas. Like we talk about, controlling global power. We have the capacity, the ability, the technology, right? We could have them relying upon us. Like, how nice would it be to have another country relying upon us versus us relying upon somebody like the Middle East for energy? I think that's awesome. Yeah, it's like, well, why did we not do that? But yeah, so natural gas, I think it has the ability to come back down again. This is one of those ones we've kind of talked about what it looks like. Really, the next major area where we've seen buyers really step in was around the 540, but it's not a fresh level. It hit here, it hit here, it hit here. They are higher hits. But again, it's not kind of a new level. So we can extend it across. And actually, I think the 78 is hit on this one. So we can take some of these old drawings off. Just pull some of these old kind of areas and profit targets off because they have finally been hit. Again, we talked about all this down draw coming and going. And there's What are you doing, Right there. So you can see we're pretty close, right? We're pretty close to the bottom. We'll see. I never really understood the natural gas market as much. It is a market that we actually have so much supply and we could dominate, but it just seems like we just don't want to. We don't want to take advantage of it, you know. I don't know. I'm still cheering for this one to come through. I think this one continues to lower down as long as we don't hear any major headlines or there's no natural disasters or anything additional. I think the Ukraine situation is basically priced in at this point. This year they're supposed to be good. It really depends on how long the situation lasts for. But right now I don't really see much changing with it. I just don't. I don't think there's much left in this one right now. I think people are so fatigued with it. I think if we get anything that affects, again, weather reports, supply shortages, any of that, I think is where the spikes come in again. But I don't think at this point there's anything that Russia can do that will really kind of offset and change the price. Like I said, they've been storing. I think storage is good. Unless there's some type of a disruption that we have not planned for, I think this one continues to go lower. So really don't like much on it. But right now, really kind of needs to move a little bit more. We really need it to kind of go down in here, right? If we can get it down to here, this 531, then all of a sudden this 23.6 opens us up for a sell right here, right? Along those lines, all right? I think that one's decent. Let's see. Do I have anything else on that one? Yeah. No, not really. Ada. Bah. Hold on one sec. Oops. Sorry. You know how it is, guys. Everybody's got to message me when we're in the middle of this stuff. All right. Gold. So gold is pushing down. Again, yesterday we talked about coming through a break. You can see that, did it give us a more near-term entry? It kind of did, right? I would say that you had a couple ways to enter this one. One, once it started to chop through, it's like, oh, this thing's going, right? It's not going to hold. I think if you guys were smart, you guys would have actually traded that area right there and said, hey, listen, we're looking for something more near term. Once it based up top, you're like, ooh, if it pulls back up to that base, we were looking for a way to get short here anyway, and it kind of gave us the old Harry Potter here. We were looking for it. The trade on this one really would have been at the 3 o'clock open right here, right? Right there is where the 3 o'clock, again, this is the 3:30 candle. It spiked right up. That's where the short trade was. It needed to be adjusted a little bit. If you just pulled this across, though, you can see, really, once it started to kind of base in here, it came due. It blew all the way through. Whoops. You can see it blew past where the profit target of 1660 was. So had you traded this options, no problem. But really, the true trade was really set up here. Once this gave us a base at 1:30 in the morning, and again, very, very hard to trade when things do this at 1:30 in the morning. But you got to look at the European session open. Great open. When it came down here at 3, it's like, oh God, it pulled right back again. And this was a great one on many fronts. That's what it would have looked like, right? From there to the low of right here. So again, 23.6, area of supply, European open. We already were calling for Harry Potter short in there. You got, and you could have kept this big. You could have shrunk it down to there even, right? Either one would have worked fine. If you wanted to run the entire green candle or just the bottom of the last green candle. Either one of them would have worked fine. You could have actually shrank it to just the body as well. It wouldn't have mattered. Any of these would have worked. Nice little short trade. Totally on board, agree with it. And again, we talked about, 1630, 75 being a target. You can see that it went right past it. It chop, went past. But again, we need to watch for buyers coming in at 1626. So still overall, again, bearish thinking, but we probably have a bit of a retracement today coming back down. Right now where the 23 is, it's kind of up at that same level. So again, 1639.50 could be a level to watch out for additional shorts. But I think this one still continues to push. But great trade setup. If you guys are able to grab this one, beautiful setup. Just, again, kind of a strange time. Silver. So we talked about silver coming lower. You can see silver did take a bounce yesterday, or actually this morning at 4 o'clock, right off of our profit target. We talked about this one rolling down. So yesterday we were sitting kind of right here, right? It pulled back up a little bit, kind of grabbed these guys, but overall continue to push lower. It hasn't made it all the way down. And again, it's seeing a little bit of a rally right now, still down 1%. 1815 is kind of where we're looking to go long. And if you look to the left to see where this ran into, right, you can see this is what it's running into. It's a confirmed level of basing, and that's kind of where the bottom is right now. So, I think it goes lower. I'd like for it to push back down, right? Funny that it bases there. Fib-wise, let's see. If I pull this off right now, oops. Let's pull a reversal. I guess we can go high to low. Yeah, it's within close proximity. Yeah, it looks like right now we could have some more selling coming in right there. 1863? Maybe we can get up to 1863? That'd be good. Again, this is quite a little rally here. Let's see. No comments from it. So, yeah, just natural. It's U.S. session rolling in. So, yeah, I look for this one to continue to go lower. So, probably some decent movement. And we got here. We got Twitter coming back up. Again, Twitter, you guys can see coming up into a level right here. Right, so Twitter is kind of more set up for shorts at this point. It's rallied back up to kind of where its gap point was. Apple also kind of doing the same thing. Right, you can see we've had it before. Apple approaching that magical 146 figure, and again, definitely some selling coming in there in the past. We've seen it before. We'll see if that comes through. And Tesla's got a little bit more room to run, but again, there was a little bit of a gap there yesterday. I would say this one has the ability to run up. So again, overall market-wise, the one thing I will say about this is look at this level right here. Right, we've kind of slammed through this level, and again, it's been a popular level before. Right, we bounced off of it, we came back up, we bounced again, and then from this bounce, we have 1, 2, 3, and a bit of a racetrack in there. So, again, just so everybody's clear, I am not allowed to trade Tesla, but there is a little bit of a position right there. If you guys know how to play some options, right? 218 down to 210. Not a bad little trade setup there. And again, that would make sense because profit needs to be taken before really kind of there. But either, and I'll put it conservatively, there would be where your profit is. Ooh, watch your head. You're going to bang your head, little man. Ooh. What is that? I don't know what that is. So, yeah. All right, let's go and look at the indices today. So VIX doing a little choppy dance. No. Here, take this. Here, which one you want? This or this one? This or this? Which one? Let's see what dollar's doing now. Yeah, dollar pulling back a little bit. Look at that. It's trying. So see, it looks like dollar does want to roll back. So with dollar rolling back, maybe it gets to a couple of those levels we talked about. It needed to go just a little bit farther, right? All right, let's see what we had at the open today. So, let's drop this down to a 15-minuter. And again, there's kind of your overnight piece of this. So this is actually your more near-term confirmation right there. And it looks like, let's see, pulled it up. Yeah, it came back down. Yeah, so there's what we have. So as far as opening print goes, we were sitting at a level. Again, it is a tested level, so it is confirmed. Let's see. I don't think this one's out yet. 1, 2. Nope, not yet. It needs to go just a bit farther. Right? Just a bit farther. Yesterday, you can see it went to a full profit target at 10:30. We're sitting right down here at the bottom. You can see it did go all the way down off the open. So this one's super, super close at this point. Obviously, you have this one, locked in. You can't lose money on this one unless it obviously goes insane and gaps past. But again, should be plenty of, plenty of. Patty, stop. You're going to fall. Should be plenty of liquidity in this one. And again, it's getting ready to hit your full profit target. So again, there's one. Again, open right in there, pulled back as it should, and almost at full profit target. NQ, there's the target from yesterday. We talked about 111.20, and you can see it came down and was literally riding. 8:30 hit it. It pulled away, came back. And, this one is one of those ones. You know, the old level that was here, obviously a bit lower. It did. Sorry, Kip is kicking the keyboard again. It did actually tag it at 8:30, but if you're looking for that one, this one you may or may not have gotten in. The 9:30 candle is this green one right here. If you use more of kind of a near term base of here, right? If you use that as your risk level, obviously you got in. You would not have gotten stopped out and you were good to go. And again, it's well past 1 to 3 at this point. Had you been using the old level where the basing was before, it would have been close if you waited till 9:30. So I would say, you know, again, in a situation with Nadex or options, traditional options, remember there, you just need to be close. You don't need to be dead on. If you looked at that one saying, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. My opinion is long. You're well past 1 to 3 at this point, so you would have been fine with it. But purely on a, did it hit the zone from, you know, last week? No, it didn't. The near-term one that formed at 8:30, it did tag that one and went. So again, conservatively, when we talk about strategies and how well they're working, ES, yes. NQ, I'm going to have to say no, even though absolutely, if you guys have had just a little bit of experience in the market, would have said, yes, this is one of those ones that I can take long. So, yeah, not going to count as far as statistics go, but it's one you guys could have absolutely got into. And again, futures traders out there, and especially options traders, yeah, you could have got into that one. YM. All right, so YM wise, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It kind of bounced off of it. I would say YM has also kind of a piece right here. Kind of went up. I mean, if anything, I would say that this one was probably more of a short. Looking at it here, you can see that it did touch. Because it had already left the area. So, you know, 9 was here, 9:30, it was driving towards the zone. It wasn't really confirmed, but yes, it absolutely tagged. Let's see, would this have messed up the day for you? 1 and 3 is right there. There's 305, and it is passed. So, yeah, that would have been a very, very quick hit right there. So, again, it had already pushed way too far away for a long entry. If you went long, if you did get into the early long, obviously you guys are out on this one. So YM, I am going to add to the total because, again, it did come up. It was kind of a confirmed test. And, again, if you took it here, great. If you took it here, great. Either way, you were okay on that one. So that one will count. And that was a nice little, what was it, 57 for 172? So not bad for YM. Right? And let's see what Russell would have done for today. Russell. There's from yesterday. So Russell at 11 o'clock. It did actually peek its head a little bit lower and then ended up going up. So, again, this is one of those ones we didn't really get a confirmation until here, right? The red one above, I guess the green one above here. But so, yeah, I mean, it ended up going higher. It ended up missing the profit target on the other side. And as far as the morning candle goes, let's see. 9:30 was the red. I would say no. Well, let's see. 9:15, 9:45. Not really. Did it hit it? No, it didn't. I was trying to. No, it did not. So, no, Russell would not have been an entry either way. It did give us a nice little pullback, though. So, yeah. So it looks like only 2 had entries. Yes, it's pulling back a little bit, but again, you got lock profit on this one. So YM obviously passed. It doesn't matter if you went long or short, if either of those two zones are good to go. I would say that YM does look like it does want to turn and roll back down. So, I'd say average morning. You're definitely in for 1. This one, even if you took it off right now, it's a 1 to 2. So you'd be up +5 today as far as risk goes. Obviously, when I say +5, I don't mean 5 points. Just, you know, risk wise. Again, different pairs. So, I mean, this one is, let's see, you'd be up, even if you close it down. Stop, Kip. Even if you took it off right now, it's 24 points. So you guys can do the math on how much that one would have been. Okay. But yeah, there's 1 to 3. So, all right. So decent morning, not bad. A lot of trades in the overnight. Last night, midnight was the time to be looking at charts. A lot of the ones we talked about hit at like 11, 11:30. And if they didn't hit, Curl day shows decrease of 1.4 milliliters from last week. Okay, great. Economics board increased. Yep. Again, that's good for Australia. All right, good. All right, let's go ahead and do the giveaway today. So Jeff won yesterday. So Jeff is going for 100. Everybody else is in for 25 today. Who we got in here? Oh, Debbie's right there. I was like, wait, are we missing Debbie? I see Debbie. I see Will. Uh-oh. Oh, Sean's right there. Sean, how much snow you got, or did it stop? My the boys' mother's family, they're the ones that are in Traverse City. They were just getting like a bunch of sleet yesterday. It was like 38 and just sleet. I was like, that's horrible for November or for October. It's not even Halloween yet. So yeah, ugly. All right. So with that, let's close this down and draw the winner. It is Neuro. Neuro with 2. Look at that. Neuro's, I mean, he's playing, what did he have? 16%. No, not bad. It melted, but it's snowing today. All morning again. Oh my God. So it all melted from yesterday and then you get another snowstorm rolling in? Wait. Hold on. This is a big deal. It's 40 degrees in Texas. Ernest, isn't that like button up the houses? 40 degrees? You guys can't handle 40 degrees. I was gonna say that's like we don't own jackets. Like somebody call FEMA. It's 40 degrees in Texas, right? Well, I gotta call my sister. Be like, hey, what is it in Austin right now? You guys got your sweatshirt jackets out? Yeah, it's 50 in Florida this morning too. Wow. Yeah, it's 30. It was 37 in Maryland. So 40 is like 10 below for Texans. Not that I want to be there. Wait, Alabama. Wait, what? 32? Wow, it's only October. I mean, this global warming thing's a pain, huh? It's amazing. All right, so let's give Neuro his 25. Where is Neuro? Bam, look at this. It's getting, whoops, 25. Oof, look at that. It's heating up. Debbie got a little bit of a room there from winning those 2 back-to-backs last week, so we will see. You should see the dress code for today. Eskimos everywhere. Oh, I'm sure, Ernest. I'm sure. My sister's like, my sister went from Sioux Falls to Oklahoma City. Was it Oklahoma City? No, it was not Oklahoma City. Omaha. Sorry, she went from Sioux Falls to Omaha to Austin, Texas. And in that process, they were so mad from living in Sioux Falls for so long with all the jackets, they got rid of everything. So now if it drops below 50, like she's just miserable. I'm just Jason Davey. I can't seem to catch you though. Nice. So, all right, I'm out of here, guys. I will catch you tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern time. Looks like the cough drops helped. My voice made it the entire time. I don't feel like I'm dying right now. With that said, I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Good trading today. And like I said, don't slack on these overnight positions. A lot of these things have been setting up in the overnight and kicking in around midnight, 1 o'clock Eastern time. So there's definitely been some great opportunity out there. So if you can catch it. Go from there. So with that said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you then.